this is Jo from Maths Tutor Me. Today we're doing percentages and ratios, and we're going to be simplifying ratios. So we like to write ratios in simplest form. To do this, we can divide both sides of the ratio by a common factor. Okay, so let me show you how to do that with these examples here. Write the following ratios in simplest form. The first one is 30 to 50. So we want to make both of those numbers as small as possible, but we have to keep them in the same ratio. So we have to divide each of them by the same number. So both of those numbers can be divided by 10. If I divide 30 by 10, I get 3. And if I divide 50 by 10, I get 5. So 3 to 5 is a simplified ratio of 30 to 50. Let's have a look at the next one, 21 to 18. Have a look at both of those numbers, think about your times tables. What can we divide both of them by? Well, we can divide them both by 3. 21 divided by 3 is 7, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, it's not going to simplify any further. Let's move on to the next one. The ratio is 54 to 120. Sometimes with big numbers, it can be tricky to know times tables that might go that high. So what you can do is you can choose a small number to divide by and do a few steps. So for example, I can divide both of these numbers by 2. If I divide 54 by 2, I get 27. If I divide 120 by 2, I get 60. Those numbers are still quite big, and I can divide them again. So I can divide them both this time by 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. And 60 divided by 3 is 20. Okay, so for some of you, if you don't know your times tables very well, this can be quite tricky. So to check to see if you're getting these right, you can actually put these in your calculator. There's no ratio button that you can use, but you can type in a ratio as a fraction. So if I push the fraction button, and for this first one, if I type 30 over 50, I get 3 to 5. Okay, so I just write it back as a ratio again, 3 to 5. Let's do the next one. If I type in 21 over 18 equals 7 to 6. And for the last one, 54 over 120, press the equal sign, and I get the simplified fraction 9 to 20. Okay, so it's a good thing to do just to check if you're on the right track and if you've completely simplified something. Question 2, simplify the ratio by first converting the quantities to the same units. So we always want our ratios to be in the same units, and we do that before we simplify them. So if we have 600 grams to 2 kilograms, we can convert kilograms into grams, giving us the ratio 600 grams to, there's 1,000 grams in a kilogram, so that will be 2,000 grams. Now, once they're both grams, you don't actually need to write the G anymore for grams. And then we can simplify by dividing both of those numbers by, first of all, let's start with 100. So I could divide by 100, which would cross off 2 zeros here, giving me a 6, and 2 zeros there, giving me 20. That can still be simplified further by dividing by 2. That would give me 3 to the ratio 10. Part B, we want to simplify the ratio 3 minutes to 45 seconds. So we need to convert the minutes into seconds. So each minute has 60 seconds, and 3 lots of 60 is 180 to 45 seconds. So I don't need to write the seconds, the unit S for seconds down here, because they're both in the same units now. So let's simplify that. Let's divide by, let's have a look. I could divide by 9. If I divide 18 by 9, I get 2, and the 0 from here will sit at the end. And 45 divided by 9 is 5. That can be simplified further by dividing by 5. 20 divided by 5 is 4, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Okay, so each of these things in here are what we call equivalent ratios. Okay, so I've been simplifying them, making them smaller, but they're all equivalent. They're in the same ratio. So in question 3, I want to find some equivalent ratios for the ratio 4 to 3. So for this first one, I'm given the second number, I'm given the 9. That allows me to work out what I have to multiply by to get that 9. So I started with a 3, I would have to multiply that by 3 to get 9. That means for the first number, I need to multiply it by 3 as well to find that number, which is a 12. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, for the second equivalent ratio over here, I have the first numbers. I've started with a 4 and it needs to become a 20. So I need to multiply that by 5. That means I multiply the second number by 5 to find that that is 15. Let's look at our next ratio. We have the ratio 24 to 16. Our first number here is a 6. So I need to do something to 24 to get 6. Because it's getting smaller, this time I actually need to divide. Never add or subtract, it's only ever multiply or divide. So I'm going to divide that. I would need to divide it by 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. That means I can divide 16 by 4 to find my missing number, which is 4. In the next ratio, I'm given the 32. So that is from the 16. What do I do to 16 to get to 32? Well, you'd multiply by 2. So that means if you multiply 24 by 2, we find our missing number, which is 48. Question 4. A bread recipe has 300 grams of water, 500 grams of flour, and 20 grams of yeast. Write this as a ratio in simplest form. So there are 3 things here that we're comparing. You can actually have more than 2 things in your ratio. To do that, we write our first amount, 300, to our second amount, 500, to our third amount, which is 20. Okay, and now we can simplify that. Let's divide everything by 10. That would give 30 to 50 to 2. And we can still divide that by 2, giving 15, 25, and 1. Okay, so that's it for my examples. Time for you to practice. So these questions are just like the ones I've shown you. Pause the video, give these questions a go, and then restart to see how you went. So for question 1, we want to write these ratios in simplest form, which means we need to divide by something. So 42 and 36, I can divide by 6, giving a 7 for the first number, and 36 divided by 6 is 6. For the second ratio, 85 to 13, I can divide by 5, giving me 17 and 26. And that can't be simplified any further. Remember that you can check on your calculator. If I type in 85 over 130 equals 17 over 26. Okay, question 2. Simplify each ratio by first converting the quantities to the same units. So we have some money, 55 cents to $1. So let's put them both in cents. That would be 55 cents and 100 cents for the dollar. Now we want to simplify. I can divide by 5 to get 11, and on this side, 20. For B, I have 400 meters to 2 kilometers. Let's change them both into meters. Would be 400 meters, and a kilometer has 1,000 meters in it, so that will be 2,000 meters. Let's divide by 100. Get rid of a couple of zeros here from both sides. So I have 4 to 20. Now I can divide each side by 4, giving me 1 to 5. Question 3 is our equivalent ratios. We're trying to fill in the blanks here. So for this first equivalent fraction, we have the second number. So if I start with a 7, I would need to multiply that by 7 to get 49. So let's multiply 2 by 7 and we get 14. For the second one, we have the first number. So 2 times 5 would give us 10. So times 7 by 5 and you should get 35 in there. In B, we have 80 to 110. In this first one, my number is actually getting smaller. So this time I'm actually going to divide. 80, I would divide by 10 to get 8. Divide 110 by 10 would give me 11 there. For the second one, I have a 22 here. That's actually going to be easiest to do from this one. I just need to times that by 2. So I could times the 18 by 2 to get 16. And for question 4, a drink is made with 2 cups of cordial, 6 cups of water, and 4 cups of lemonade. Write this as a simplified ratio. We have 2 cups of cordial, 6 cups of water, and 4 cups of lemonade. They can each be divided by 2, giving us 1 to 3 to 2 as our simplified ratio. And that's it for our lesson today. Keep practicing. I'll see you next time.